but I promised 30 minutes, and I'm going to do 30 minutes. All right. So we are going to start by just rolling up those shoulders. Big breath in, exhale out. We want to get that upper body nice and loose. And then we're going to go the opposite way. Roll those shoulders forward. Feeling those shoulders kind of separate the back, those shoulder blades. Good. Take our feet wide apart, and we're going to just reach and lengthen the side of our torso, lengthen into that spine, just getting those muscles nice and long. Really want to make sure that we're warm as we enter into this core workout, and we want to make sure our back and our upper body is nice and relaxed. All right, now I'm going to add a little step in there with a little bit of a knee flexion as we step. So I'm going to try and get your heart rate up here, and we're still reaching, making that body nice and long. Good, and I'm going to take that now to a reach in front. So you're going to feel those shoulder blades kind of come apart a different way. Reach in front. Good. Now I'm going to take that reach down towards my knees. Still tapping it out. Adding flexion into those knees. Good. Let's go back to that chest. So we're going to reach right from the chest. Good. And reach overhead. Awesome. All right. Just march it. Roll it here. We're going to come down to the floor. We're going to sit on our feet. We're going to start by rocking ourselves forward into a knee plank, bringing our whole body down to the floor. So you let that whole body weight just come down. Push yourself up, push that bum back to those feet, and then rock yourself back down to the floor. Warming up the back, warming up the chest, warming up the shoulders. We're going to do this a few more times. In 3, 2, and last one right here. And as we do that, we're going to sit to our feet and just hold just a second, just to stretch out those shoulders, that back, and relax here. We're going to sit on our feet again. Take those arms out. Pull that chest. Arms come back down, almost touching your feet, so that whole chest area is nice and protruding. And then we're going to roll, reaching in front of us, scooping into that core. Belly button pushes back, and then we're going to inhale. Come back, pull that chest out, and exhale. Good. One more thing, we're going to come on to our hands and knees, and we're going to just wiggle those hips back and forth, getting that lower back nice and warm, because we use that lower back to support ourselves, so we want to make sure that we're stretching it out. Just transferring your weight from knee to knee, keeping the chest forward. Good. And then we're going to shake it all out. We're going to get started. So today we're doing a HIIT style. So we're going to take each exercise as its own circuit. We have 6 exercises today. So we're going to do each exercise for 40 seconds, rest for 10, and then repeat 2 more times. And then we're going to switch to the next exercise. So the first exercise, a couple different variations that you can do. I'll show you the first one. You're going to start on the floor with your hands over your head. Squeeze into the bum, pull into those hips, and you're going to drive your knees into your chest as you come into sitting. So you're just going to come right up. You can take those hands to the floor for a little bit of support, and then roll yourself back down, and then come right up. The modification to this is to take those hands behind, and you can just drive your knees in as you stay seated, or you can even do a single leg, squeezing into those glutes, pulling into that core. So those are your 3 options for this first circuit. Let's get started with our first 40 seconds in 3, 2, go for it right here. Squeeze into those glutes. Really think about tightening up through the bum, pushing right into that core so that belly button's just shifting right to your spine. In any variation that you're doing, you're going to keep that chin off your chest so that we're really just engaging that torso rather than our upper body. And don't be afraid if you're coming from the floor. Use those hands for some momentum. Pull right into that belly button. Good. If you're using the floor and you're pulling in, you're scooping out that core without changing that back position. In 3, 2, relax here. We got about 4 more seconds-ish to start again. Here we go. In 3, 2, same thing again. Coming up and really just kind of hold that position. Squeeze into those glutes. That lower back, the tighter your bum is, the more we're protecting that lower back. So you really want to squeeze that bum, pull into that belly button. Pretend somebody's got that string from your spine attached to that belly button and it's just pulling it right back through that spine. Really working the lower abdominals here. Those are the abdominals underneath that belly button. Transverse abdominals, which is the deepest part of our core. Just working on strengthening these muscles. In 3, 2, and rest it right here. Good. Just wiggle yourself around. Spend your 10 seconds just relaxing. And then getting ready for that last and final set here. In 3, 2, here we go. Right here. Coming up. Making sure this is working properly. Keep going, you guys are doing great. Squeeze into the glutes. Here we go, 10 more seconds. In 5, 3, 2, and we're resting it right here. Good job. Whew, that was a good one to get the heart rate going and to feel that core work. All right, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to do a little crunch. And this is going to work the upper part of our abdominals. Now you can add a dumbbell into here if you have one. You can have any object if you want, or you can just add no weights. So you can just be reaching up with your hands. So what we want to do is take our feet flat to the floor, take our hips, pull them into our pelvis so that lower back is completely glued. That belly button sinks into the spine. And we're going to just lift those shoulders off the floor, reaching up with those hands, or if you're using a dumbbell, pushing from your chest and then pulling up. And again, we're going to keep that chin well off our chest, just using the abdominal muscles. Here we go for 40 seconds in 3, 2, go for it right here. So through this entire exercise, our lower back is still glued to that mat. So you're really just taking a little pulse from those shoulders, pulling into those belly buttons, squeezing the glutes. And the more you squeeze into those glutes, the more you pull into that core, the less you're going to feel this through that upper body neck area. If you're feeling it through that upper body neck and you're using a dumbbell, I would suggest taking the dumbbell away. And if you're really feeling it, then instead of reaching up, you can reach through your legs if your neck is really bothering you. In 3, 2, rest it here. The whole point of this one is to really understand the contraction through your bum and your core. In 3, 2, 1, second set, so that you do release any type of tension through your neck and shoulders. So keep that chin well off your chest. Pick a spot on the wall or the ceiling and look right to it. You should be able to fit an apple between that chin and that chest. Squeeze the bum. Keep that lower back right to the mat. Really think about that belly button being pulled into that spine again. In 3, 2, and we're resting for one more time here. Again, just wiggle it out, relax your body. Here we go for that last 40. In 3, 2, squeeze it up. Exhale out as you lift. Inhale as you come back to the floor. Really provide oxygen to those muscles, and then exhale. Good. If you're using a weight, are you feeling it through those arms yet? I know I am. Pull that belly button right into that spine. Squeeze into those glutes. Almost there. In 5, 3, 2, and we're resting it right here. Good job. Grab some water. We're going to move into our circuit number 3. We're actually going to move to our feet for this one. So again, if you have a weight or 2 weights, if you want to incorporate it, then you're more than welcome to. If you don't have weights, the movement doesn't change. The weights just add a little extra intensity. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing some slams or swings. So if you have the 2 weights, we're going to do a little squat, not a full squat, coming down, and then we're going to swing up, pulling into our belly button and our hips, squeeze in, leaving those legs slightly flexed, and then pulling into that core as we pull those weights or hands up. If you're not using weights, it's literally just bringing those hands back up and down with a little less added intensity, but you're still going to contract into that core. So every time your hands come up, that belly button pulls through the back of that spine. Here we go for 3 sets. In 3, 2, go for it right here. Remember, try not to lock those knees, so they're always going to have some type of flexion in them. Really squeeze into the bum, pull into that core. And you're going to really use that core to bring those hands up and down. The weights add that extra intensity, but you certainly don't have to include them. 10 seconds here. In 5, 3, 2, and rest it here. Just relax for a second. Heart rate's coming up. Anytime you raise your hands above your heart rate's going to come up. Here we go. Second set in 3, 2, go for it here. Really think about pushing those hips forward into the pelvis. So you're squeezing into those glutes and snapping yourself up. Take it slow if you feel that you might be hurting that lower back. So just take it slow. Instead of slamming it, you swing it. That's why they're called weights, slam or swing. We've got 5 more seconds in this second set. In 3, 2, and rest it right here. Good job, relax. Always like to put my weights down, shake it out, then get ready. Here we go, our third set. In 3, 2, squeeze it up. Keep that breathing nice and evenly. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Ideally, you want to try and inhale down, exhale up. Using that core to bring those hands up. You want to feel this right through that midsection. 10 seconds. In 5, 3, 2, and rest it right here. Good job. Grab some water. We're moving on. Set number 4. Okay. Timer, there we go. Weights can go away, we're not using those again. We're gonna come into a side plank. And again, many different variations on how you can do this. We wanna be a low plank for this though. So our shoulder and elbow is nice and aligned, and our knee and hips are nice and aligned. So you can do this from a knee plank with your top leg directly over top of that bottom leg, and you come up on your knee. We're gonna start with our hips, just grazing the mat here, and arm extended. And then we're gonna pull that hip up, bring that arm in, and then dip that hip bring that arm in. You can do this, as I said, from your knee plank. You can do this from a side plank. You can actually even do this from the wall. So hip down and in, squeezing that glute, just rocking, drawing that straight line. Or you can do this from an incline, from a couch position. All right, so let's start. Here we go. In 3, 2, go for it. Reach nice and long. We want to elongate that torso with that reach and then shorten as we drive that hip up. Drive the elbow down to the hip. You want to make sure that arm is nicely aligned underneath that shoulder. Bum is nice and tight, so we're not overloading the shoulder. We want to put everything right into that core. We got 10 seconds here. Just nice, even dips. Keeping that bum nice and tight. In 3, 2, and rest it here. Just shake that supporting arm out. Get it nice and loose. And we're going to go for that second set. Here we go. In 3, 2, go for it here. Start with that hip down, arm long, and then drive it together. Keep that feet, if you're using that one knee down, you want to make sure you're tightening into that bum so you're not slipping through that knee. Nice and long, reach, and then shorten. So you're driving that hip up to meet that elbow. Really feeling it through those inner obliques there. In 5, 3, 2, and rest it here. Shake that out so you're feeling that on the inside of that dip, but you're also probably going to feel it through that outer thigh there. We got one more set. Here we go in 3, 2, go for it. Really think about driving that hip nice and high. If you have to sit down and then drive it up. Otherwise, we're just grazing the mat with that dip. And don't worry. We're not going to leave you hanging for the other side. The next circuit is the other side. 10 seconds right here. In 5, 3, 2, and rest it here. Swing it around. We are switching to that opposite side, setting yourself up, fixing the hair. Elbow and shoulder nice and aligned. Set that knee up with that hip nice and aligned. Remember your variations. You could be on the wall, you could be on your knee, you could be full side plank. Here we go, 40 seconds to start. In 3, 2, drive it together. So really pump that dip up. Hips come up to meet that elbow. Squeeze into the glutes. Make sure you're nice and supported through that shoulder. And we're not overloading that shoulder because we're squeezing our bum. We're pulling into that core. Almost there. We've got 10 seconds. In 5, 3, 2, and we're resting. Just shake out that arm. Get yourself a little looser. Here we go. Squeeze into those glutes. Coming up. In 3, 2, 1. Really think about elongating with that arm and then shortening with that elbow. Elongate and short. As you dip down, that's how you're elongating that inner oblique there. And then as you reach up, that's how that inner oblique gets nice and short. 10 seconds. Almost there. 3, 2, and rest it here. Good job. Whew. Hair's getting in the way. All right, one more time here. Here we go. In 3, 2, make sure you're nice and supported. Drive into that elbow. up, driving that hip up, and then just grazing the mat. As you draw it down, 20 seconds, right here. That thigh is thanking you too. 10 more seconds. Squeeze that bum, keep it nice and contracted. In 5, 3, 2, and we're resting right here. Shake out that arm, shake out that shoulder. We got one more circuit with these exercises, and we're gonna come to our back for the next one. All right, so just as we did kind of that full sit-up, to start with, we're gonna end with it, but we're gonna add a little component onto it. So, we're starting down. Our feet this time are gonna be flat to the floor, so we're not driving those knees in. We're gonna use that feet to plant us. We're gonna come all the way up, and as we come up, you're going to take one hand back, opposite hand, opposite toe, toe touch. And then come all the way down, rolling back through that lower back, come up to the other side, toe touch. Now the modification to this is to come up, and you can do a knee to or hand to knee or hand to toe without actually coming into that crab touch. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, go for it right here. So really think about the coordination as you do this, whether you're coming into the crab or you're gonna sit in and just drive the knee forward with that toe touch. When you come back down to the mat, you're gonna roll through that lower back. So that lower back hits the mat first. So it's a power up, and then it's a control back. Breathing in. Almost done that first circuit in 3, 2, and we're gonna rest it right here. Good. All right, here we go, second set. In 3, 2, roll, power up. Touch that toe, whether you're sitting or moving to crab. Coming up. Nice and controlled. Don't try and go too fast. You want to make sure each movement is nice and controlled. Using that core to keep that stability. That's what we're practicing here. Strengthen these muscles. Strengthening through that back, through that core. In 3, 2, and rest it here. Woo! This one is a little bit fun, don't you think? Okay, here we go. Last time. In 3, 2, go for it. But many times I've had people tell me, Deb, your version of fun is not my version of fun. Good. Squeeze into those glutes. Pull that belly button right to the spine. Roll back through that lower back. Chin off our chest. We're almost there. Here we go. 10 more seconds. In 5, 3, 2, and rest it right here. Good job. All right, one more thing to finish out the workout. The circuits are all done, but one last thing to finish out the workout before we stretch it out. We're gonna do a plank and plank and mountain climber combo. So we're gonna hit the plank for 10 seconds. We're gonna start in low. 10 seconds here. Then we're gonna do 10 seconds driving in those knees in a low plank. So you're gonna notice your bum's gonna come up. Then we're gonna come to high plank. Hold that for 10 seconds. And then 10 seconds, drive the knee in. All right, we're gonna do that 3 times in a row. And then we're gonna stretch it out. Here we go. In 3, start low plank. You can go through your knees to hold that plank as well. 3, 2, we're holding it for 10 seconds. Squeeze into the glutes. Make sure the shoulders and the hips are nice and aligned. And we're gonna pike our bum just a tad in 3, 2, 1. Drive those knees in. Feel that belly button. Push into the spine as you drive those knees in. Good. Come to high plank in 3, 2. Drive yourself up. Hold that plank. Hands right underneath the shoulder. Feet can be spread apart or together. The closer your feet are together, the harder it is. Here we go for climbers. In 3, 2, drive them in. Just walk them in. You don't even have to run them. In 3, 2, come back down. Low plank here. Remember, you can plank through your knees. And let's drive it in 3, 2, drive them in. Hike that bum a little higher. Good. In 3, 2, let's go high plank right here. Good. Squeeze it in. Here we go. Drive those knees in 3, 2. Drive it in. 5 seconds here. 3, 2. And let's come back down. Low plank right here. 5 seconds. Almost there. Last time in 3, 2. Drive it in. Hike that bum. Keep it nice and tight. In 3, 2. And I think we need to go to high actually. Sorry. Let's go high. Hold it one last time. High. Here we go in 3, 2. Final 10 seconds. Right here. In 3, 2. Now we can rest. Whew. Just giving us a little extra challenge at the end of that workout. Nicely done. Let's take ourselves, when we're ready, onto our back, and we're going to do some nice stretching. Hands over our head. Big breath in. Feet are flat to the floor. Drop your knees to one side. Make sure that your shoulders and back are still on the floor as you take them to a nice T position. Look the opposite way of those knees. Really think about pulling that hip around. We're twisting into those obliques, into that spine, into that lower back. Now we're going to take those knees, drop them over to the other side, pull that hip around, keep those shoulders flat to the floor. Look the opposite way of those knees. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Coming back to center, let's take those knees into our chest, wrap our hands around our shin. We're going to take a big inhale, and as we take that inhale, we're going to squeeze the knees, lifting that lower back slightly off the floor, and then exhale, we'll place it right back down. Big inhale, feel that whole lower back release. Exhale down. One more time, big inhale, and exhale down. Good, one leg comes down, other leg comes up, hand behind that thigh, cycle yourself up. You're going to come over onto your knees. We're going to take one leg out, take that opposite hand to the floor and just reach as long as we can here, really stretching through that side of your torso into those obliques. Good, and then we'll switch over to the other side, lengthening that back, lengthening that torso, lengthening those obliques. Taking some nice big inhales and exhale. And as you exhale, think about reaching just a little bit further. Nice long stretch here. Back to center, we're gonna come into a nice crouch position, curl our chin to our chest, and then we're gonna slowly come up. Good. Slowly come up. Take those hands now behind your back, link them behind, and then just start to forward bend with those hands. Open up through those spots right by your underarms there in that bra line. Open it up for all that plank holding. And just see how high you can bring those arms. Feel that stretch. Anytime you lift those arms further or stretch yourself, Just make sure you're doing it through an exhale, then slowly come up. Then we're gonna round out that back, scoop out that core, belly button right to that spine. Big breath in and then push those arms out. Big breath in. And then push again. Those arms come out through that exhale. And then swing out those arms. Big breath. Bring those shoulders right to your ears. Pull them back. Exhale down. This is your natural posture right here. Big breath in. Pull back and down. See how good it feels to have a nice tall body. Big breath in. Back and down. Feeling that neck get nice and long. Feeling those shoulders stretch. Shake it all out. There you go. 30 minutes. Boom, boom, boom.